Can I ask a follow-up quickly? It might not be quickly, I hope it's quick. Because this topic actually comes up a lot in the Black speculative fiction community, right? And so the term Afrofuturism has been coined as being specific to the Black American experience, right? So we talk about ourselves as Africans, ADOS, right? Like Africans descended of slavery. And there's this very clear differentiator in that African futurism, to my understanding, is set in the continent. And it doesn't necessarily involve at all what the Black American experience of having been descended from slavery has to do. So I just want to be clear, like, that's my understanding of the difference between Afrofuturism and African futurism. Like, maybe you live in Kenya and you've lived there your whole life and you're there now. Like, you wouldn't be writing Afrofuturism because you've never stepped foot on American soil, right? So what I want to ask is this. Now that, like things, I mentioned my organization that I'm involved with, the Black Speculative Arts Movement, we're global. We have a chapter in Cape Town, we have a chapter in Berlin, London, you know, here on East Coast, right? We're all over the world. Brazil is a huge contributor to this, right? So now that we're looking at global Pan-African, is there a word that could be used to describe the Black experience, no matter where you are, in diaspora or on the continent? Like, I wonder if there isn't a way. You talk about a bridge back, right? Like, that's something I've been sitting with, is like, how do we bridge it back in a way that, like, we can talk about it with one word?
I will say, I don't know that I even want one word to describe the, because I think some of the joy and the brilliance of it is the specificity of it, right? And I think, like, Black Panther is wonderful, but I understand the beef that a lot of Africans had with it, because it's this idea that, you know, so many African writers had spent their entire careers trying to convince the rest of the world that Africa was not a single country. And then, you know, you have, in this movie, you have, you know, you basically have a body whose, like, left arm is Togolese, whose right arm is Nigerian, whose left leg is Kenyan, and whose right leg is Ugandan,
right,
and whose torso is South African, right? And it's, as an Afrofuturistic product, it's amazing.
It's perfect.
It's perfect, exactly. But, like, it, in many ways, sort of crushed and atomized the specificity of a lot of, like, specifically African places, or specifically continental African places, right? So, like, it's, you know, that's part of the context of it. So, like, I think I would want something specific for, like, an Afro-Brazilian imagining of the future, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, an Algerian imagining of the future,
right?
Or, like, you know, like, I love the specificity, because I think the specificity brings that newness to it, and I think also the more specific a story is, or the telling of a story is, somehow alchemically, the more universal its impact can be.
Thank you for saying that. I actually got into an argument with an African-based writer in a Discord, because he said something similar. We were talking about the movie Coming to America. And he was like, that's trash, what a hodgepodge, you've diluted all of these individual cultures, you don't even know what kente cloth is for funerals, like we wouldn't wear that to a celebration, blah, blah, blah. And my argument was this: as a child of the 80s, that was the first time that Black American Hollywood actors had the economic freedom to create a movie, and at that moment, we were thirsty. We wanted anything Black, African that we could get, and if it was kente cloth, then they were gonna make an outfit out of kente cloth. And you can't tell me that, yes, we were grabbing at this part of this, because that's who we are, right? And so I think that speaks to your point, as Afrofuturist based in the Black American descendant of slavery experience, yeah, it makes sense that we're gonna have a piece of kente cloth, and we're gonna have a piece of Kenya, and we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have that, because that's who I am. I'm 2% every country.